What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Credit Plug channel. I wanted to make a quick reaction video. So of course, I browse around on a lot of the different credit forums, and I don't remember where I saw this at. Maybe it was My FICO forums or Reddit, but I did want to read this really quickly to you guys, and I'm going to put it up on the screen so you can see. So this was a post that someone had made, and they say, should I give a 4506C for a 50K B-lock? Now, what does that mean? So a 4506C is a tax transcript request. A lot of lenders do this when, let's say, you apply for a loan and they want to verify your income. So instead of relying on your word or what you put on the application, these lenders will literally pull your transcripts directly from the IRS. And of course, you have to give them authorization to do so, right? So that's what a 4506C is. And 50K, 50,000, B-lock, that's a business line of credit. So they say TRUIST is now routinely taking a 4506C, even though they don't tell you upfront or mention it in their offer. The rep claims all banks are doing that, so everyone is saying no financial statements in their offer, then asking for 2 years tax returns. Isn't this false advertising? It felt like a bait and switch. Once they ding me with an inquiry, they call later and ask for tax return transcripts, and my banker said they ask everyone. Now, here's the thing, right? When I originally got my first line of credit with TRUIST, as well as my second line of credit with TRUIST, they were not doing a 4506C or 4506T. What I've seen lately is a lot of institutions have tightened up their lending, right? And there's a couple reasons for that. Defaults are up, fraud is up. Banks are just trying to safeguard, their money a little bit better and properly vet people who are applying for loans. And so what happened over the past couple of years is that we've had this massive advertising of no doc funding, no doc loans, right? And to be honest with you, no docs really appeals to people who don't have their financial paperwork in order, right? Because why else would you care about whether there's docs or not? If you file your taxes, you don't care if there's a 4506T or a 4506C. So what was happening was a lot of people are putting inflated incomes on their loan applications to get these approvals. Since defaults are up, a lot of fraud has been going on. Banks are saying, look, whatever you put on your application, we're not just going to take your word for it anymore. We're literally going to go to the IRS and pull your income and your tax statements to see if what you're putting on your application is in fact true. Now, here's the thing. Whether it's a 4506C or 4506T or a verification, it doesn't matter. What you put on the application should be 100% factual to your best knowledge, right? It should be true. So, if you're saying you make $100,000 a year, your taxes should reflect that, right? And so that's what a lot of banks are doing now. And there's a lot of reasons of why they're doing it. So this is something that I've been preaching to you guys for over 4 years now. You need to have your paperwork in order. I recently went through a process where I had to supply tax returns for multiple years, and I actually had to do a 4506T. It actually went back 2022, 21, and 2020. So this was 4 years of tax information, right? And so that's just something to expect going on. And this whole idea of no docs and get a shelf corp and apply for funding. There's only, I would say, probably 2 business lines of credit that I've ever received where I didn't have to provide tax returns, but in lieu of that, I did have to provide bank statements. That was probably the Marcus by Goldman Sachs. They didn't ask for taxes, and I think Fundbox maybe. Every other one asked for tax returns or did a 4506T or C, right? So I say all this to say, don't be surprised if the bank is asking for verification. That's the current environment that we're in right now. I would say in the future, it's going to probably stay that way, right? We're in the information age. So banks have a lot of this information at their fingertips, your banking information, your tax and income information. So at the end of the day, you want that information to be truthful anyway. So it doesn't matter. You shouldn't be afraid if a bank pulls your tax transcripts because whatever information you're putting on your application should be in fact what is verifiable, right? So it's all about verifiable data points, verifiable information. One of the major reasons for this is the rampant fraud that's going on, right? And I don't really like to touch on this issue because it's really representative to a certain subset of people who have no financial integrity. And what happens is people get all this credit from these financial institutions, never repay it. So what do the banks do? The banks just don't sit there and be like, okay, these people defaulted on all these loans. They didn't provide any financial docs. Well, going forward, we're going to verify everyone's income so we can reduce the level of defaults, right? And as you know, defaults are exploding across multiple different sectors: the auto industry, the mortgage industry, the commercial banking industry, right? So banks really want to tighten up their due diligence, and asking for tax transcripts and banking information is just part of that process of properly vetting and qualifying applicants when they apply for credit. So I think overall it's actually a good thing because it weeds out all the bad actors, because a lot of the bad actors are the reason why banks are implementing these changes. So if you do file your taxes, which, if you're a working adult, there's no reason why your paperwork shouldn't be in order, right? And at the end of the day, it's all about organization. I do come across sometimes where people haven't filed their taxes and they're trying to get access to funding. All it really is a matter of organization, right? Like, if you haven't filed your taxes for 3 or 4 or 5 years, that just means you're not organized. You need to better organize your financial information. And I would say it's just always best practice to have all of your information organized before you approach a financial institution, because the financial institution is going to use all of the available information to make an informed lending decision. The better organized, the better prepared you are before you step foot in is going to be your best chances of getting access to capital. From just some anecdotal observations I've made, most of the successful people, whether it's in business or, in their profession, are organized and, have their paperwork in order. Like any big financial move, whether that's buying a house, getting a business loan, it's going to require some type of paperwork. You cannot avoid paperwork if you want to do anything substantial. So, word of the day, motto for the year: get your paperwork in order.